Welcome! Today we took a beautiful Sea Ray SPX 230 to Kempers Island. It is a beautiful day, really quiet, no airplanes today, so I think we have a great opportunity to take this Sea Ray SPX 230 out for a spin. That we're going to do later, but before I do that, let's go through the boat like we're used to, even though we're used to starting at the bow. I'm now going through the boat at the back. And you see this really nice bathing platform here with the optional sea deck. A new material, relatively new, which I personally like a lot because it's kind of soft, especially with a beautiful day such as today when you do a lot of anchoring and swimming. This is nice when you walk here with your bare feet. Even if you sit here, this can be a really nice material and very practical. This particular boat also has the optional manual submersible swim platform, which lowers like this. Of course it goes a little further still, so you can sit here with your feet in the water when it's really hot, or you use this when you want to put on a wakeboard or water skis. And of course there's a place to attach the top light, which extends all the way up above the bimini. And this is the place where you attach the line for the water skier or the wakeboarder or a towable. And something that I always like with Sea Ray is that you just notice that Sea Ray is one of the builders with lots of experience. And people don't always notice that, but if you see these in compared to these, this is done because if you attach the cover for the cockpit here, and the normal procedure is that you go from the bow to the aft. And these materials, Sea Ray does use Submersible, which is one of the best materials available. But they tend to shrink over the years. And what happens if you only use these is that they don't fit after a couple of years. And what Sea Ray does is a small detail that they make it in a way that there's a small elastic band which you attach here, so that it always still fits even after a couple of years. It may be a small detail, but it's the details that make a Sea Ray a Sea Ray. So this is the nice bathing platform. Of course, there's still a bathing ladder here with 3 steps. So still a really good opportunity to get in and out of the water with a grab. Something to hang on, to hold on to exactly on the right spot. This, of course, is a walk through, but we put it in this position just to show how big this sunbathing area is. I'm 1.92 m, so you can tell from me lying down that it's big enough for taller people like me to enjoy the sunshine on this beautiful and big bathing platform. Now if I go here, there's a possibility to lift this and put it like this, so that you have a really nice place here to do some lounging in the sunshine. A really nice detail is this Sea Ray logo, which is stitched in the back here. I'll hold it up like this. I also like the patterning in the new upholstery. This is a 2020 boat with the new stone upholstery. It is a light grey, which I think is both very practical, modern and timeless. You may also notice that there's cushions all over the cockpit, working as a backrest. And again, I'm not one of the... I'm actually quite tall, but even for me sitting here, the backrest is high enough so that if you sit here for a day, you don't get to start to feel your back after a couple of hours because the backrest might be too low. That is certainly not the case in this Sea Ray SPX 230. This boat has been fitted with the snap-in carpet. And what I always point out also is a nice detail, which is this, with this small piece of plastic. And this is done, again, it is a minor detail, but it's the details that count, This is done because some people tend to take it off like this, and if you do that a couple of times, and this would not be there, this would be torn out. And also this is a material I always tend to show people what is nice about the Sea Ray, and I more or less invite them to look at other brands and to do the same. And if you do that, you will see that there are differences. I always say to people, if you really want to experience the quality of a Sea Ray, try to find a boat of 15 years old or more, a Sea Ray, but also other brands. And this is something that we find in our workshop a lot. If this needs to be taken out on other brands, this is a different material, and it more or less has been taken apart or come loose, and it's even stuck to the fiberglass here, and that doesn't happen with the Sea Ray because this is a really good material. And of course, all the sides here are made in a way that they last a long time and have a really good feel and touch. In this boat, the standard table is a round teak table, and this has the optional big teak table which folds out like this, giving the boat a really nice atmosphere, and also a very practical big table, so you can sit a lot of people here and have a nice drink. I particularly like the Sea Ray logo which has been made here, which brings me to the capacity of the boat. There's a CE sticker close to the steering position which says that it can carry even up to 13 people, and that is really a lot of people, and that is something that I particularly like about this boat. It is a 23-foot boat, but it has a huge capacity with regards to people. But not only that, there's lots of storage also in this Sea Ray SPX 230. Below me there's storage, there's below this cushion here there's storage. Of course there's a big ski locker, you can see how tall it is. And even small places like this are used for storage. And one thing I like is that they even fitted a small gas strut here. You can see the courtesy light here. There's a couple in the cockpit. Optionally, there's also a lighting package. And you may or may not see that there's LED lighting in the cup holder here, blue LED. I think there's even an option to choose white LED. There's a cooler here, a portable cooler, which of course you can fill at home to bring your cold drinks. But there's also an active cooler below here, a huge area, so with an active electric cooler, which gives you plenty of opportunity to bring cold drinks for a full day on water. This bimini is included in the optional captain's package with, I think, the snap-in carpet and also the bow cover and the cockpit cover and the optional table. And the bimini, as usual with Sea Ray, is made out of stainless steel supports. Not only these are made from stainless steel, but also these. And there's a small piece of, well, plastic in there so that this doesn't rattle while driving at higher speeds. Again, a nice Sea Ray logo engraved, and this material is Umbrella, which is the best material available for things such as covers and biminis. There's a main switch locker here, and of course this can open up and work as a walk-through. This I also particularly like. This is of course a way to sit down here while driving with a grab rail on exactly the right spot. Ergonomics on the Sea Ray are always really well done, but this also is a really nice way to sit here and do some lounging. A great place to sit down and enjoy the nice view. And of course there's a bucket seat for the steering position with, of course, a flip up possibility like this, If you drive, for example, in a marina when you want to do a bit of mooring, you have a better overview. Also when it's extremely hot and you want the air to go through your hair, this is a nice way to drive. And also while skiing, and when you want to have a good overview, I tend to put this in the upward position so that I have a good overview. And when you do a bit of more relaxed driving, you sit like this. Look at the angled footrest here, which makes this a very ergonomically thought through steering position. Also the steering wheel can be tilted up and down. So again, really nice ergonomics with this back armrest here. This, by the way, has been fitted with the optional digital throttle and shift. This is a boat which has been fitted with a cruiser 4.5 liter 250 horsepower engine with the Bravo 3, which is an option, and the DTS, digital throttle and shift, which makes the shifting really easy and silent. Nice switches. This is what we're used to from Sea Ray, stainless steel, at least metal switches with a nice light in the end, so you can see when they're off or on. A Fusion audio unit. One thing I really like with Fusion is that they have this streaming option so that you can stream to or from a phone or a tablet. And there's even a party mode. If you have friends with a boat also with a similar Fusion audio installation, you can have the same music on the boats that are around you, which is some kind of a party mode and a really nice feature when you're out on a beautiful day and you want to have a party with your friends on the water. Of course, there's a bilge pump, a bilge blower, and of course this digital dash, which is new, I think, for 2020. And this is the optional 9-inch screen, something I really like. They use Simrad screens, and of course they can be used in multiple ways. We didn't put in the small SD card yet, but just to give you an idea, this is the chart overview. You can see where we're at in the Netherlands, but also this is some sort of a pop-up bar where you can have the most important data. Of course, this is all made in a way that can be adapted to the user's preference. And again, you can have it on the engine mode so that you have the engine data right in front of you. A really nice and clean dashboard. You may notice that there's an active trim unit here to the side. This is used for the stern drive, which is trimmed automatically when you switch this on. This is also possible to do from here. Here you can see the active trim that it's on. So this is more of a double way to do the to use the active trim. Here you see this small dial, which is the more or less remote for the fire suppression system. Every Sea Ray is fitted with the fire suppression system. Let me just open up the engine hatch so that I can show you. This is where the automatic fire suppression system is. A really nice and safe feature on any Sea Ray, providing added safety. Again, this new, well, relatively new 250 horsepower 4.5 liter cruiser, a great engine, and what our mechanics like a lot is that all the maintenance points are taken to the forward part of the engine, so that it's really good to do the service here. And also as a user, checking the oil level, for example, adding a little oil, it's all easily done because it's all on this side of the engine. And of course, big stainless steel hinges, gas struts, this made in fiberglass. It's all done in a Sea Ray way. There's added storage here. Let me close this. it locks, like you may have heard, so that it doesn't open spontaneously while driving. And here at the steering position there's added 12 volt and USB outputs, so that you can charge your phone or your tablet there, or maybe even bring an extra cooler. And this of course can close like this. This needs to be done while driving. This is also a small thing. This you attach to prevent it from flying to this end when you're in a strong wind, or when you forget it and you make a turn. And this, you may notice there's also a piece which closes this full forward section, which not only gives you a lot of seating area here, because there's an optional filler piece here in this middle section, and here you put the backrest, but the added advantage to that is that you take away the wind from the cockpit, especially early in spring or late in the season when it's kind of chilly. You put this in, you close the window, and here you're sheltered from the wind. And this is a really big bow area. The SPX having a really roomy bow. And again, I'm 1.92 m, plenty of space. This can sit easily when you use the filler piece here. 3 people, but maybe even 4 kids. Notice also all the cushions here on the sides, so that if you use it like this, still a high backrest, sheltered, you're safe, important when you have kids. And I really like the attention to detail, the stitching on the corners here, different type of cushion here, and this stitching on the side, grab rail on the right position, fusion speakers, non-skid in the bow, easy to step on or off, LED navigation lights, stainless steel cleats with the Sea Ray logo engraved. So again, a lot of attention to detail, and of course storage throughout the bow area underneath the cushions. Cup holder, stainless steel, grab rail here, and further storage areas. So all the space is used on the Sea Ray SPX 230. One important other feature, of course, is the toilet, which is here. This has the porta potty, which I personally think is really useful, since you don't need a holding tank. It's just this piece of equipment. It's simple, easy to clean, but optionally you can also install a different type of toilet. This, of course, is nice with this cup holder here. So I think that brings me to the point where we're going to take the boat out for a spin. Before I pick up some speed, one thing worth mentioning is that driving slowly, this boat benefits from the counter-rotating double propeller. This has a Bravo 3, what they call at stern drive, which means that you have 2 counter-rotating propellers, which means that when you drive slowly, every stern drive driven boat tends to do like this, more or less. And with 2 propellers, that effect is reduced dramatically. So I really like driving this boat slowly. A lot of the driving in Holland is driving slowly, I think over 80%. So this is a very practical feature when you have the optional Bravo 3 stern drive. We're now doing slightly over 10 kilometers an hour. Having the wind from the back, there's quite a strong wind today, but this feels like a really nice and quiet boat. A really nice V6 engine, really quiet. I can still talk, and well, the fuel consumption, of course, is really low. The funny thing is that now there's this Eco GPS figure, which now is 1.5, 1.6 approximately. But you'll notice one would expect driving slowly would be much more fuel efficient. But if I pick up the speed, I think we can take it down to 1.5 while planing even. So a really fuel efficient boat. It feels really sporty also. Of course there's only 2 people on board now, but still this is a really fun boat to drive. We've driven it to the island this morning. Sorry about the sunglasses, by the way, because it's still quite early in the morning and the sun is still a bit low. But driving to the island this morning, I really like this boat because with the support, I'm looking for the right word, the steering, which is done in a way that it's really nice and easy, even with the finger. Of course, maybe a bit exaggerated, but as you can see, it works like this. Again, you can tilt this, but if you're steering like this and you press the throttles, the boat is out of the water in no time. So it feels really sporty. If I take the speed down, we're now doing 2,700 RPM. Again, it's really nice and quiet, and we're already doing 33 kilometers an hour. Power steering, by the way, was the word I was looking for. Sorry about my English. But with this power steering, again, it's really gentle, sporty, smooth and quiet. 33 kilometers an hour. And looking at the Eco GPS, 37 kilometers an hour. Let me take it up to, I think we have a constant speed now of 37 kilometers an hour. And we're doing 1.6, 1.7 kilometers per liter, 1.7 approximately, which is a great figure for a 23-foot boat. So on one hand, really sporty and fast, 250 horsepower to my experience is really sufficient for this boat, but it's very fuel efficient too. So let me take up some more speed, over 40, close to 50 kilometers an hour, active trim still on, middle position, 55 kilometers an hour, and you may notice that the fuel efficiency now goes down to 1.2, 1.3, which is still really good. Doing 54 kilometers an hour. We've had less wind during reviews, but this is fun for a change. I think it's a 4.5 today. With this backwind, we're still doing 70 kilometers an hour comfortably. Not sure if you can still hear me, but still, this is great. Let's do some turns. This is so much fun. It's quite a big boat for a bow rider, 23 foot. It feels like a 20-footer, or maybe even smaller, driving like this. And with that, I'd like to wrap up this review. This was the Sea Ray SPX 230. We're planning to do further reviews on the SPX 190, but please keep following our channel because we hope to be doing more, especially on beautiful days such as today. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.